Good evening, followers of Oko and
Follow,
Beyond.
follow.
And we could use Oko and Beyond Lake Free Linevin. Ne Linevin
Which is
lo
follow and
cheek lake and dun. Lan lo ngokse. As in keen no poor. Lan lo chi way. Rake and do. So you know for to lak. Lo you know for to lak di. E kile ulo sungnen. Wa Ogda National. Wana choktane fele bafusang. Wa ba be Jav Roland. Tayang. Ka kok ten line vin lune esne yu so wen no so idio oko ambion ye bip tum no so wen no so idio be ka boom no ka vin lege ule lo jo monanda able wona kok dio wona bole ge bip te bif ne gele wi suffice so no oko ambion ki igang wa legen fieferen chi aji whatsapp lo le gen zema no for negele zema jise ne lo ja tunga wo zema ne wo lo zema ko zema ken lo ku ye ku ne wo ka zema we je ken ne ten wo ho yu tren yu ten de se zema no chinaya selo ne lo zema lo kumu fazi wo le ka sung ne ogda suige yi kok te gui ne okwa ambion sung ne bip tem no le so ne ka nyak tem no le we ko bip te gem no sen do le ya aja diap some nervin e mo te no suige na de wo kin ken kin lo ko ki ken kin na YouTube lo ko ki ken kin na Facebook lo ko ga na WhatsApp ko ki for na gai o kwam yon kalen for do no wa yeng in Baxen. Thank you, followers of Oko and Beyond and the entire population. We are glad to have the public relations officer for OCDA National, and people have been having concerns, questions about the state of this organization that is dearly to the life of an Oko man. People have their concerns, and everybody who has a concern for the village, for the tribe, for the region, as a person that should be listened to. Oko and Beyond is that media that comes with everything that reaches out to people. We're reaching out to the public relations officer with all type of questions. And we're going to ask him a lot of questions because people have a concern. They don't want to boil in there, and stay behind. And when you stay mute, you may have some preconceptions, but you need clarifications to everything you do. So today, without any waste of time, we'll be welcoming the public relations officer for OGDA, Mr. Jav Roland. Welcome to Oko and Beyond.
Thank you so much, Okan Bion. It's always a pleasure being on your platform and being with you. I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming in. And if I can remember, in March, somewhere in March, you were on this platform and campaigning for this post of public relations officer, and you got that blessing, and we're celebrating it. But before we start, you're the public relations officer. You've been in that power for over 2 months, or you get into yes, this is already and get into mid-May, and you've been there March, April, and you get into 2 months into this office, and which means that it should be a lot of time. And if you look at your calendar, you'll be retiring from this post in less than 3 years, because when you clocked in for 3 years, so you have few months to be in office and few months to show the population your strength. And we thank you because you're bridging this. This is the first time we get in an OGDA personnel talking over Oko and Beyond at this level in time, and this is laudable. And we say congratulations for accepting to hit the press on this day. Bell we ka winge and kusungen a fief we Oko and Beyond belle the loop chilewe when the cocktail fiefen suisi ge what team yesak team na ka wo bi chas na ge fees can allow for ye ogda nege kele can allow li ogda nege kele can ka ball we ne lo chimlo ngam fene wo coffee chiase ka feise bel ka guine kan fen dus fo ko yon kia ka on be me ka tie ka tene a fo so we o sululen se fele ifele yetene diese bifu ge ka ne lo ne ba fu sam ka zen lo ba fu sam ge se chinten so ku ye ko bo ki te bif gen lo yen ka ne nya kan ge le bele ku ka no chokten ri le ge no meise e ne ba yo ge se na chokten de no chingaya iga ngwa ba lu kolik ke o kwam bion lo din se wege kolo lene wo vin lu ka tfn wo lu ka tfn lu ge ne yendi ja lo te yimo up tia ten ko lu la na
Bele ukan biyon. Esa no ba sa mi filen du chok tup choki order. Ne ene chok tup choki order de ne ma wi ka chuna lunlen. Ne lo gizin ja kwize ku. Up to chia mo hailak. Chia zilak gri chia sa ba fusam. Ne lo chok tup choki na me se. Kalin ba lo choki kan lo chok tup vese. Wala bifi bif ge ukan biyon ba ki a list. Lo ba lo kan ukan biyon. Lo ben ge list ba lo be comprehensive list. Baka kana kuise ba fusam on that same day and prepare and the different posts nyarte beneke bi al published officially bene post by vacant ba fusam nem na suge me suite am tele ko ge no ifele ba fusam ne chokte ge silak chokte ba fusam so le fele we lu ilak na kwate ge ne chokte ja chokte post in baka ge ten se lo ba fusam o yelo ba fusam kwate ge ne chokte chokte ne ge ten se lo ji lak so le ka kalun bene se chin sele non menge official communique bi afai on memas ka levele lo ya azum nge regime keke na okwan biyon ka tamten dikwelan le gelo no jungo sene ka aliste lu no wol ko ka na lu ke be ke le wol ke lo no posten le wol no posten wol no posten bele
ka naten kan ka ten he yesu ge gene ke ti fele ten se fielen du so ge lo ki en gizen du dise to fiang ka le ke ne lu ji whatsapp se fo kon fie fo fen ka din ge lu fe ne ko ja ne bip te no se ren en ne fele so ku ye lu ge ka bip te kan ne fe ne lu no le ka lisen bele ka tam ten ge en lo fui ko fui si ga ngwa le ten ge le kele se lo lu ki ke wu wo tong no we wo ndung wembi wo lo to ke le ji e gele neten yo lu ne le ke ki fwa le se chia se ogda e fwa ta ne chia ke ne fan san fe le fe le ja ke bele se ka fi sen ke ne ke tene di ne se lu ne lo ba fu sam chok de choki lu fo le 14 se me se 4 se bi ge ana chok de di ge ndu ye fe ke ne mo que ne kale ke ge ase chok te tong te lamba la ge committee kalen ke committee lu ne ke na chia ju mo ke lu di ne ke bo be se lu
lo committee ja bu no committee se bu se fele ji ke ne ogda lu realize project ko kwa ko for ne lo project se ja lu realize na committee we o na su ge ni realize those projects no ifele ba fu sam no ne ko kwa te ge en lo man dom te kabli ne ko man no ne lo sui en tok lo sui ga nan tok chi fo zan ba ma ka ba fu sam ne chian lo ku chi fo ne taw ne chi tok ku chi fo lo sui tok na la na ge e cho ki fe ndo propose members of committee ako ku so ka re tin tok su chomo a publish the list so long vo ngo tembo chankem no mo to face meng o we vinja chia ne mo tembe a fe beka ogda shi ke fel ogda shi ke fel ka ifelen tok ke men no ogda shi ke fel effectively mo shi ke fel ogda ke mini fe ben shi ke fel ogda face alondo mo ko na tandu no lo ja ke that face wo technical face ogda ja ke ne committee se lo ya ke ne committee se wi so sulu so shi
Thank you so much for that response in Oko language. And we once more saying that we have a public relations officer for OCDA, Mr. Roland Jaff, sitting here with us today to give us some clarifications on things that have been happening. And we were talking about them coming up with a committee and various committees to spearhead the various activities of OCDA It's been over a month and getting to 2 months, and we haven't heard about these committees coming up. And when you look at their term of office, it was 3 years, but when you look at the calendar, it's less than 3 years because we've already spent a year. We already spent a month and some weeks. So if we're counting on that, it means that things should be effective as soon as possible. And when we're looking at projects and what we're raising funds for, the other day was the spearheading of the Palace project. And one of these prominent committees called the Project Committee, we're asking how soon will this committee be set up?
Thank you so much, Okan Beyond, for us being there and for us being having what I call an eagle-eyed observation. It is true because for many, the committee issue has maybe died a natural death. It's not true. It's in the pipeline, and I believe you may before the commencement of next week, or we at most next week, we're going to have the committees formed. When we left Bafusam, very strict instructions from the front of Okud, from the palace, these committees had to be formed, and they had to be formed by the executive, by the newly elected executive, and I think that that's ongoing. So with consultations with the phone and other stakeholders, I think that the list of committee members will be published before soon. So the question is how soon? I would say or maybe next week, latest next week, we want to have a comprehensive list of committee members. Everything is set in that domain. We are getting done with everything.
Okay, so Oko and Beyond will be coming to you at exactly 1 week from today to ask the same questions because Oko people are people who would need to put things in perspective. We know more at the time that we can say, "Ani neilig bachi or bus or lik freelang." People have the concern and they want to see that project being realized and done in the right direction. That also projects, that will also motivate them in coming out in the pride of the people, like seeing things on paper becoming restructured. And thanks for that response. But when we look at the resolutions from Bafusam and Bafusam Oko, because the meeting was in two places, and you're talking about the project committee, there were other concerns that we're going to come to that. So one of the resolutions from your Bafusam was to set up these committees, and the cry of the people is really there that they should set up these committees. But now, if Oko and Beyond is talking, the Oko and Beyond saw an empty-headed structure in the palace. Images came to us, empty-headed structures. Was it the wind that took this off? That's a concern of one of our followers, Keen One followers.
Thank you so much. It's really interesting. We are as keen as the mustard. The Ukuman is very keen because we are contributing to the development of our village, and it's so dear. That's the only thing we hold. That's the last fact. That's where we shall all end, and it's in Oku. So we were still planning, just as we are on today, to give us further insights into this. But since we are all concerned about the development of our village, some people saw the work and know how to make the public know. This structure, what they call demolition, is ongoing at the level of the palace, and it isn't the work of the wind. It's in the work of the wind, Uko and Beyond. It's the work of human beings, not the wind.
Okay, before make a difference, public relations, cái lúc cái suy cái bảo bây giờ thì sẽ này sẽ tung nên cái bạc lekin. So lui phê a phía au quan beyond lo kỳ nên jim jim leo lo li na cái tuôn đà bê wi. As a beaver cái tuôn đà bê wi đi na chắc sẽ a phía mo na chắc sẽ a ghia mo chắc sẽ ốc đà mo cái sẽ na gan lê ya mấy cam jim jim mới tên luôn nè. En ko yene negile bibte tenege que se na keraya mo to lo to na tegile yo.
Belle Uko and Beyond. felle ke men en tok ne ri len tunda ne lo fedi ne lui concerne okda lo lui ge bia ke okda fel ka wul ka lo suige lo te ke fel be li fe ne concerne okda ne tunda ka lun chedi ba fief ba so fief ba so se ifim ba so fief so kana gel ne lo bi tundu mo ko na te ge reten so si ne so jike ne so be ne reten so lo haya ne okda lo awe ge tunda ne elementie space en toch alles bagle en toch dat structure ten toch bieden veel doen toch so okda lo awe
bela ji fiseneten bekari ke se ki fan ge se chakse afiefa so lune su ge chakse kena ye di ne chakse di ka te temerin lumenge a chakse ka okda fiele si so project committee en gali fele ye numbi mo
lo mo ko su ge lo kan ge fiele ne gana ma fino question li fiele balu ge lo lum item ai te temer balum ben na ga chan ka ki ge le fiele a chakse di ne lo ka an lu yen ge ku lo maktab ka velenen maktab kana kwa na jidio no wa yu ni lo ka ten wenga do ka ten no joge ne sen ku asen ka no lu mo ten ngamen ke je lo bagle re bagle men ge bagle ke ne ka fa mo kala ton ge contract lu ne ji sa jo bagle no ten lenen wo no yela ne ayen ab cho ki wa ok da ge lu ge ke ka bagle kin ibe de ita public fen lege chokop tunda a contract ye kes no li kana contract e fele ko ken lo du yang se temse ne jo ko wona temse ne kon du gele yen masul li mi nge bal ko na ko lu si jo ne solo fe kana ka fa ka wona kala tonga community level ge element to kala te kana fa ngam ngele fay e fele felu ni bet no very very important ne e kana ka chan to ko len kana chan to ko lo to nge yite men to ko ne ba waso fo na ko lo to kana ko ke e fele ten du kandi akem na tunda lo mo tendu so wors lo mo tie timen bigo timen du so na ni felendu ne ka bi fendi lu ne mama ne gele ma ke i fel di okda so felen tok de ne okda lo ko ne lu tok ko ne lo sen ko ne lo fel ja vi community le boten le fele ko ka yang se tumse so se faf ke di le yenge ke no lu lo fel kam ka ya sen etef ngam le findu fa vi feleten NFL en kam tu fe NFL ibien tu fe ibie samba fe ne ibie tai ko yi lo ho li ni ko tin so no kai fe tenen dun tok tenen ne ebligum lengel lelu ne lu ngel fe le ne jankana tok ge gui fe le ne lo mana le bon fu ko jim nen tek so fe guye nen tek fe guye nen tek fe guye gui ne fe le so e ka kalu ne bia lo ge lui fe la ge lui fe la ka ba mo orda ka kel men atem ne di me se si so lik ne mun ma koy ngano mi lang en salo chona so bush schools lo kera chona so bi ne lo ken klik la gam ne mendu schools ten bakle ne lo PTA en we announce the government law for classes ba classrooms ba first malu yelu ne HM school for yellow Friday free so on the class na jim teleti na to obligé la na ge comme de a martintie ba ne dis ge ifem loke men do rendun ne di ay lu contract ten bil ay lu fel contract ten no aussi gen klik so lu exact na kala chanan toklen na le bib tedi shi ze ke na lo no juma ba lu salo informed lu kono ko bele lu kan biyo
bele ka na tan kin ke tene ke se yo no ke sungen lo me se ken ko fi ke ne me chu ne tong te link le ge contract na contractor by fe so lu ne ka ge ne yen ka ken ka tunda na lo budi so bive ge ka lu di ne by fe lu ne abo be se chok te project committee ne by fe ge se free me maten mo ne kenge mo ne li kendi ama suige le by fe la mo ren se ki by fe la
ai lo cho ki ja je ne by fe le ne ab cho ki lo su go je ne by fe le ne fe cho ki ya lo bwam ne ga le miti jo mi fe cho ki ne lo me se competition ka fa o mkala ton ge tenders if en do in different phases no lo okay klinken en nei kan klinken en nei da ngana chat through that na ka so lo di lama kale gele ko man yak te gele gen man nyang wa gen ma bay fay sen gelem ama ka ke yeng ka su lege lu ndete ngolo ni fel tok ilana ba lu fel na ci lo ci ba lu fe gen ilana ko ci bo ci tali fe 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 alu tan ko kanu lu fo ama ya kanga sa ni de fel tina no lo ya bom ni ge fe fe tin shi ne chok ya kam ko ta to so fo di fe gele fe no tin ci le ci den kling tim ya ko na le tin ko ko na ko lo ko na ko ko ke.
Thank you so much for that piece in the dialect for putting it there. And when you were talking, we were talking about contractors, and we're looking at the project committee, and we also answered the question about the demolition. So people became so eyebrow that how can demolition be going on without a project committee? Is it that there's already a handmade contractor, or are they just, or this is just on paper? Because people are asking, when is the tender? What are the prospects? When is this going to happen? So these are the questions people have the concern, like, would there be a contractor? Would this be launched like an offer for people to come in?
Yes, obviously, we cannot violate the rules. It's going to be that way. Now, permit me to say once again that what we saw or what we can see at level of the palace now is thanks to our father,
Yeah.
the Fon of Oko, who summoned, and as usual, he has the powers to do so, to summon our people to come and do some community work, community labor. You know, we are doing everything, and we cannot focus. Our project cannot be capital intensive. At one moment, true, we may make good use of labor. It is true that at the end of it, it's going to be more capital intensive than labor intensive. It is true. But you know, to minimize cost is a cost minimizing strategy that at the level of the executive we had a meeting and we discussed. We had to fine tune measures to see how this could be done at the level of you know what they call community labor. So we met the fund who baptized the idea, baptized the project, and summoned the Oko people to come out en masse. I think that it's just the beginning. Yes, more summons will still be made in the days ahead, so that we work as one person. And what's the essence of this? The essence of this is that what we have when we get the amount, when you just say 50 million, 51 million, 53 million, people feel that is something is too big. Yeah, it's too big. It's too big in principle, but most of you who have constructed would tell us that if we have to do something proper, effective with it, it may not take us a long way. So it was a means to minimize costs so that what we have at hand at least will take us to a certain level before we get into any financial quacks or any financial difficulties. So that's the essence of that project. And as concerns contractors, the tenders will be launched and they'll be made known. It is true that a good number of people I've also received calls from people, messages. People are worried and people feel that we are in a smoky. We are struggling to to blindfold the Okuman. I said no, the Okuman is too intelligent to be blindfolded at this moment. We cannot do that. So it's clear and it's important to note that when the time reaches, it's going to be made public. And of course, people are going to submit their files, applications. They'll be evaluated, and I think that just the best will be taken so that we have the best of constructions. We should also lose sight of the fact that this edifice we're going to mount at the level of the palace is not just for a week, not just for a year, it's not just for a decade, it's for centuries. So we need something that will stand the test of time. So you can count on us for that. So far, so good. There are no hitches, and there is nothing that is coded or encrypted that should be known, that should not be known by the public so far. We contributed, it's our money, and we're supposed to be informed about it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for responding. And for those following us, you must have heard from the mouth of the public relations officer that contractors get your files ready, because the time is coming for this to be launched. So it's going to be made public. As he started on a good footing. He started on Oko and Beyond. Oko and Beyond is going to come behind you every day to ask you that, okay, let's meet to our plans. The plan is that every Oko son and daughter is open, is ready. If you are the contractor, that you know you can do this job, start getting your files ready. We must have seen the structure, the design. in December. We saw the design in December. We saw another design coming up some moments ago. We've seen like some conflicting designs. Is it just like a motivation, or where are we heading to?
Indeed, that's I like your choice of words. It's a motivation, it's enthusiasm, it's to me a showcase of talent. We are blessed. We are blessed. We have so many contractors. We have so many designers. We have so many architects in Oku, and the people can design things and publish. It is true. Before the come together in Bafusam, there was already something that was presented to the population, and I think that it stands. It is true that there may be modifications, there may be some alterations, but as time goes on, and if there is any, then we are going to be informed. I've seen different designs on Facebook. I've seen different designs on other social media platforms and the rest by sons and daughters of Oko. It's just good. We've even seen Paradise. People want to make a palace and El Dorado, a village. It's something that we all like. We all admire. They want to make it something more or less of, the greatest structure that we have in our country. Is the wish of an Oko man. So it's just sort of motivation, some sort of designing and what they wish for our community. But I think that what is standard is what will be shown to the people, or what was shown to the people. That's what is standard. And if there are any alterations on that, either to change anything, to do some adjustments, is going to be done. So there's no harm about it. Just like we said a while ago, we cannot control what people say, what people think, what people fabricate, what people design. I can do because I love my village and I even propose. And who knows, through such proposals, some alterations can be made. But for now, nothing conflicts, because what we presented still stands.
Thank you so much. Ne mesuige asinka bosung ne se ulo sung ne we ogda ne ka din te fikte se ga singe kakalun le kum kambom mani blot fikte ne showen lugi e ka bivel ne ge bipte ge wuse kalu website si se ka se bo makan le lugi lo wote ne ba ta ngwa so wen chi te ka ake fikte bifge se lo bom de ndok ji fena mo esa kige etina.
Ai, lo ja so the kiga fene written so lo ai na ko ko wi. Ko ogda ko e kiga no ko ki written lo ai. Ne lo so no la makala ge face by face. As in law killing fen do kine. Lo ko lingin ne ka fo no ko jandiste fele. Lo the first ntam esin katalie. Ne lo ndu do da ntam guzo ne geleke ne li kan fe kwen ko yeke na wona ko lu lu tum lu ga bala ko ya lo nga lo ko lo tum la ga fay ko lo ga fay ni nga lo ne ko no tem baglan dan tok nda ne tu na yesa ja be mo na baka ga bala ko ko fi sen na ji ju ne no yon to fe le lu kan na sa du le ko no kin tang non tang ja tam gam tan ko kuy ko ja na jum mutin yelu wan wala ko san kan aba fe ko jof ko ne fe ngodi kam ses menton fe jo kan kan yen ko so ge ne luite ne ko ne gele a ge se fang ge le shi ko lo le ne ge ten lo gai so na me se na ka to ka tu no committee si ne ka le ngi te mo kui as ne tasken ge so lo ge le ba te ne ba te ko wo le me se ba te sen lo fele ke kan fe lo so fele ntok ka no ka so ne ntok ne so lo na da ko ke fele nga won ge me se lo fele ne le kan ko lo fel me se lo fele lo mo tom cha ko no ko mo lo mo tom cha ka bo lo mo tom cha ka tal kendi o me ba te yene the design of loan so ko bulu very open ki bi alu block ka gele bi alu
bele ne ka kon du nan tang ke Victory Monte nyakan fenge logo chok we se team ke tu kan project force lo se kinen ye lu ka tong te la ma bala ge competent engineer o lo to kinen ni fele tene lo kinen di me lu ne sense bai sem ne we lo ni gwi ne lo ngek se lu we lo to ki ne ki la ma kai fele lu ne ba ki lu ti shiri di ne fen lu kan ne ka jung bele ka na tan kelin ke tene bele ye ke kinen ne te bip to ko gwi di na ka te bip ko gwi no ne esen lo lui fele lo lo so pa ne fe na katse se OCDA success solo ne abori bo bivage ne lo fele ne ko yo audio na ga dinga bo be se nyakte te kele power kana lo len bazan text ne gi solo ne kana ten lo di ne ka lietam dige ngugin ko so wi se me ne ko lu ga ko lu se ka se ke te wen gu fen solo ne gi be ya yo ka kana chian ka ne ten se lo le ya
bele ukwan biyon ne lu ifele ba fu samwe son lon ko njon so balan ne lu le yenge lu choki lu loto gouverneur bam ne choki ba gouverneur bam Katzin kind of police for 2023 so circulate internal branches circulate or internal branches look chonda nan text jim with the adorate circulate external branches a very vast area the area coverage is very vast ne can she some sort of coordination ne lo mesu ke chike lan ba ke ga ya fene ke chike so sung lan fe ke chike ko lan tok na ban te lu tok lan geo almost all the villages sub for the evaluation the cast and free for the internal branches to seka so for le ya ka go seka ne bo ki de kwa kata su go choki bo fele ka ena le go choki bo fele ne lu lot ne fin kat go choki bo shinge in renda an account ne bi renda ne wo ma wi ke kono so loke ka lu le akati bole ali bole ka yandu amali ka lo sa ka dinga lo ko kandu so nu lak sak ne loja ne ba kan lo bichi yesuge ka nege ne ka sa ka bo shift nu la ka bo la ka wo ne yuna ka lan le ke ko su ne kum ne kat ko sen wolf no te biare na account up to now na kat so no choki fun choki yoto fun se recover no ka vine vi ne choki ba kon se for part but at the end of the day yen kan lo go na for ka ke malan ntok na ba ta ko ntok lan fele with the vice president talk na le ko executive na le ba ta ne chairs of ko le ntok lu ne external branches lu ne up choki fele say ka soon as possible vi fatim jiman kem mo ma fese amma su mali singa wala su ko na na lom don ton ko ne ba ngo ton de 2023 lu ne katsaten se meye expire ne wala bi gula mo to launch cancer 2024 no a very good thing no one of the things from lucky Switzerland logo lo mo to cancer 2024 it launched no loss ya lo produced and lo ya lo launched maybe produced also and sold ne ba me se other part ko ye ke le ka ne change le ka ne change e wa wo choku yil fele na katan sienge all the cats kan ka concern cats ne kelo presenters of choku ka alo ne 2024 cats at least no 203 page no blue the foreman no ma sui me sige gele bo shift no noten gele bo shift no noten individuals na choki ye ke man bola ba na choki ja bo no bola choki ya se fe ka ten for ka kateten o ka kateten
bele and we're looking at the concerns about the cats, and we're in the world of technology. And this should have been, or this can be like suggestions that coming in from various people who have concerns, like what is preventing OCDA from going through a digital way of counting these cards, that they could point finger at the same point and say, we gave 10 cards to this village, we gave this to this region. Are you guys looking towards a digital form of counting these cards or producing come 2024 productions?
Yes, thank you. I think that we may not go into full digitalization of the production of cards, but there are some changes that we've envisaged for 2024 because the cards cannot be the same. A card is like a annual identity, unlike the national identity cards that last for 10 years, for a decade, as our cards are not the same. So there's some changes, and I think that it's just a proposal from you, and it's a wonderful proposal. And that's why we say OCDA is open to proposals. OCDA is open to ideas. But believe you me, the cards of 2024 will see some changes. Yeah, they will not be the same as those. And when we talk of changes here, they're going to be improved. There are certain things that we are going to ameliorate in terms of the quality of the cat, in terms of the durability of the cat. Do it for a year, but it should be different from that of 2023, because at the level of the executive, we also evaluated these cats, the qualities, the structure, what should be done on the material, what should be done on it. So there are going to be some changes. And as time unfolds, I think that your idea is a laudable one. And if in due course we see it possible for it to be done so this year, we will not hesitate, because we need the best. What we need for the best is what we need for Oko is the best, and it's only through the best that we're going to have the best. And we discussed a while ago that it's true that we about to get into 2024, the production of other cards, the sales or distributions, but there are still some. We have a few hitches that will hinder us from actually getting into diving into it directly. That's why today, at the level of the palace, at the level of the explanate of the local palace, the different sub chiefs, quarter heads, they all assembled there today to do the evaluations of these cards. How many cards were given out to the internal branches, and how many cards were sold, and the rest on account. The checks and balances. And there are other individuals. There are individuals at the level of the external branches who are also joining us behind. It's true that we are pacific at this moment, but I think that if they see how they're keeping other cards, and they cannot render accounts, and they cannot give the cards and the rest, they are hindering, because they are making work heavy for the executive, because we do not intend to give, reports in drips and drops. We may end up questioning them to do so, and it will not be good. So it's just a clarion call to all those who are in possession of other cards, who know that they're still to render accounts to the executive, to do so as soon as possible, because we are already late. We are late.
Okay, thank you for that, and we hoping towards the best, and all this to bring limelight and to bring people together for a progress. So if we take that into consideration, it'll be a time that we just have to make a click of a button, like a spreadsheet. Everybody in Yaoundé is a spreadsheet, and it can be counted in a few seconds. Like those counting in Oko, they can run it out like in every village and say, okay, put it on a spreadsheet that you see in Yaoundé. Now you could have just clicked and say, all right, these are the cards that are coming. And the public relations officer is talking in a coded language that some people are holding this project from progressing, and they are going to come in another way. So he doubles as an officer. So we know what it means when it gets to that point. So you cannot be keeping people's money, and then people will be begging for you to come give the money. Yes, because we need the money to develop a tribe,
Mm-hmm.
and we cannot hold the development of a tribe in the hands of a few people. It's a collective effort. Thank you so much for that. And we having some reactions from we take some reactions from a
What
page,
about
and
me? Yeah.
coming about money and the executive. We have a question about. We heard that the deputy mayor was elected in Oko, and later was discovered she's already of a post that is not compatible to the voted OCDA post. What was the solution? Is there a conflict in that post?
No, the notion of compatibility should be constitutional. It should be constitutional. It should be constitutional. I think that people raised eyebrows. People thought that it was incompatible, but later on, there's no replacement. She hasn't been replaced. She still runs that post, and I believe you. I believe you me. The focus there should be on compatibility, and what determines the compatibility is our constitution. Is our constitution. So things that are not made clear, things that are not be made clear at the level of the constitution, can only be proposed for them to be made clear. We cannot imagine things and then we feel that they can be, just they can be fielded into any sort of space. So there are ideas that people raised, and I think that if the constitution doesn't condemn it for now, then there's no issue of compatibility. So she's still there.
Okay, thank you for that. And if there's any further clarification, if you may want to come next time with the article that goes along such people of certain positions, we will be looking forward to in our next edition to handle that as who can be into a certain position and who cannot be, because all is for the progress of Oko and the development of the tribe. So we have another reaction. These are reactions coming in, and a lot of people will putting in, and we have one other reaction from a certain Tiam Randy. Thank you, Oko and beyond. Thank you, Ogda. Indeed, we need constructive criticisms, not begrudged criticisms, to take Oko to a higher height. Let's leave no stone unturned to take our home to enviable level. As a youth, I would like to know what Ogda holds for the Oko youth. Yes, thank you for that. And you may know the name. The name sounds like a name that is within the family. So he says we're going to come to his question later on. We're just taking it so you should know that we have reaction. But before we get to that and to combine to it, and it's just walking in line with criticisms, what is the role of the media in Ogda?
It's clear we made it before now the there wasn't Ogda was not that much liaised to the media. It's true that we have an Ogda website. It's true we have the Ogda contribution platform, and there was so limited, and they were not official because we had not fully embraced the social media. And it's very vital. No development, no society, no person can live now in exclusivity of the social media, and Ogda cannot be an exception to social media. So the relationship between Ogda and social media is clear, and I think that during our executive meeting, one of the resolutions that was arrived at is that relationship between Ogda and social media. It should be embraced. We should also know that physical meeting nowadays, it's uh, it's not a day's job. Physical meeting is not a day's job. So the social media plays a very primordial role as far as Ogda is concerned, and Ogda promises to work in partnership with this social media. So you can count on us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we look at the opening speech or the thank you letter from the executive, it was written there that excessive use and excesses. They went on to excesses, social media excesses. What do you people define excesses?
Excesses, yes, it's true. Excesses, when you go beyond the limit, it's an excess. If I take a bottle and you take two bottles, it's already excessive. It means that when you criticize in this domain, now let me contextualize it. In this context, it means if you know full well that what you are saying is against what you are saying is not true, and you are saying it, you are getting to excesses. So it was just a way of cautioning, because people are like, we just got one of the followers there. People are into deep, destructive criticisms, and if we are to cling to them, they will not help us go further. It is true that we cannot control what people say, we cannot control other things. It's true that organized receives all this, but I think that just like it's done everywhere, and just as it's done in our context, we are doing our best to caution. Yes, just a cautionary phrase from the executive, from the president, that though we are partnering with social media, those the partnership between Ogda and social media is something enviable, is something to praise. We shouldn't get into excesses. In other words, we shouldn't tell lies. We shouldn't tell lies. So yes, about lies telling. Yes, that is against even the. I think that the Bible condemns that.
Yes, when you talk about that and you're saying we shouldn't say things that are destructive, and it's also playing on the other part, like it's like Ogda wants to hear some words. They have some words or they have some vocab that they want people to use to feel like people just have to use this word. Truly, and from the structure that has been demolished in the palace, if people didn't talk about it, raise questions, swim alone, the tone in which people came out with was constructive or was it destructive? Now you're clarifying people about this is not the way it's supposed to be. Then look at the yankin kachandi. Just we go hurt a chuck so fear more bema can get a book towards or that and a book towards all that. A little book towards all that in the chucks a fief. Katunda katene lia loso. A my book to can was Ogda. Ogda nippers liberty sugar hoy. A yanka fief chucks and the two and that. Then jag we swiggy hoy. And just me. Mo en kan no bleo en yes ma sa mo e benten ka sa sui ge walo le ki won tum no we lo le lo bu na chia na lo kwa te ge bu na di se bes lo la se ndu wa vs min re te wen ken le ne ke tong te ge cares e cares un cares ne jim bu na di amma bu na ma mak pajamas te lu le ne ogda executive en fi tawe ge ni fer ka bivas renge gele ko sa lu seka ge ko chia hundreds and hundreds and vie ne we mok lu ga beef kan sa we fene gen team before fene bu sa wi so lu ne embo be sa kit beef gen jani team 4 en lo le lu fo kenge na de ye vs gui kenge ka yongana ba wa kese lo bentene kese lo bendu na bi mo bentene DJ ka bina bef no so le ne en sui ka bina jandu lo le wa bin music the first music a job lo book the second one ja job wa chi gen chi mo wo sui kenge no se buka ne ji ge gwinten sui ge ya chas bi wes renge en kim no blewe wen kenge le lo sungen se mo en vese le su te temegene se be mo gene kuoso oblewe lo rak en e kwat ge lum no jung web jien be lum no ka ble me ne wona ble mo gen vese le maktem no vin ka kon sui ge elo ba fusam sui ge ne lo maktem no se ne tu maktem no se le tu en ye a ku boyten mo en bo be ken foge social media lo ne ka be ya
bele bion lo orda ja su go sham ya lo no be ne ma lo su go no su ko no ga ya lo buam ne e gangar slolu e ma ka bi so ge elu su ge elu sa ga tun tok sa tun nan tok le lo buama ba lo buam ne se me su le tun ke fe lo lui ka su ne wa su lui na ji se ke fe ne ba su ni ba me ko ju ngang no ko go ndu wa le ne ndu wa na ji le ndu ne wa lumbi ke ne te no konsa na ko wa ke ti lo ka tam so na na ju ke ne ndu ti ka tam ba lo ti be ndu ye lo ko ti ne te ma lo ti jung ne mo lon su su ke aba su ke ye fo kan bele ye fo kan ke yong ai ko lu fri ke ne jan do ke su ne lo wa su ke wo gu fo kan ko lo ta ya su ne ji ke ka ba lo possible le su ne ka fo no ka ne cho ke ye ke ne ki ne cho ki believe in that ge le su ne le fo ka ne cho ki ba ki vocab choice of what lo su ke le use when cho ki lo tenge wo lo le ye lo kan ye ya kan bo am ge le gane ke ogda ne ogda ba ni lu ge ogda yu ja mai we baka wolu one ogda wolu ko but what ko subconscious mind we gelu na conscious we woru ge mase ya bo am le ya no wa yeng ogda ba ga nda ten we su ko nda nge ten nda ten fo no fi ogda fi wala te fi ogda ba ka su ko no lu wa su na ge ke wa su di din wa su la man yo wala lu ko le bo woli sa ge su la man yo fo ko yu so ne ko no nge ba ja limit choice of what the law limit choice of what the ba ti so da school school since so que le gana o da na yeren be o da lo nga asan si ya bo as en kinu yesu ko no ke lo ka la na o yo yer yer tan ko bo ba meten ku
ne ka sui no ne na yenen na linga ten luka ogda lo ne lo ye yum ne le kenga kuna bu ne ten lo te sing matras le lia blanket chitu wunso fe na kan ka wo sui ji chia chiang me be man do no will sui di ka bifenge ka updates in se gwi sole line vinle ka yonge gele ki no se beef yoge tunda lo ne lola se 18 fadi ne gie se gwi se ba ne ye suinge chak se fief ne suinge no chak se kena community so le ne ine ye lo le ne se ke lui wete ne ge le ke ne ka lun so ge ne suig me bifege how often will you be updating the community about the progress of OCDA's activities before implementation or after the realization?
Bele, I'm going to step by step. No rule in OCDA ka ilo public relations. Na melo no kwe ke game. Kana ka lo to scoop ge kana ka fya. Sa ka tsu kana ba lo ge lo most lo lui. Asa ki dat social media spiritual gele kana lo ke su gi ye lo gen ke tene su ge ni ke yi ni su yi ge ni yi ke su yi ge. Ne ka ba lu most ge lo lui lo ke na na ke su ne bo an ka yi an ko to me. Na e de fes kana ka ke mais grâce que c'est informé que tout qu'on a order le rôle PRO le rôle exécutif order le rôle choki le rôle président order le rôle victime order na ye fait quand no que no ye lu e ka kale ki le order facts am a force order time is important because what ki no gouvernement going to lay value as ka time important ba lune the veracity of the information.
Yes, I think Lusungen as a public relations officer and fearful law. Longa fadi ne ke physical ne kuma social media kum karine update re kuma amno chian amame ogda dinem ko sungne ne ke bifte se wenge gen ne mote fikte sa tume kum kamno ogda se ndun ne kanga sega a cheap sega be ka su inuge a lo re lu dinam ne chia ne na de su ke wone ne ogda. Okay. If you're back, you can continue. The network is giving us problems, so the public relations officer was given a response to the question about yes, like you're in two screens, and yes, your camera is off. Yes, you're back. Okay, thank you for coming back. So you were with the question about how often will you be updating the community so we do not sit and just frame our stories and start telling people.
Yes. Time is important. People should be informed about what's going on. For instance, if you take something like what is going on in the palace, and you see Mr. Ngum or Mr. Ngangajwel or Mr. Ngumpolo or Mr. which is not so. Are you doing good? You are not doing good because you are not doing any good to the village. Because in 2 or 3 days or 4 days, you come back and say, no, this thing was done by Mr. Ngonga Peter, not Mr. Ngonga Paul. You see, so time is the facts, the veracity of what is shared is more important than the time element. I think that we're going to have a project and it's phase by phase. After the demolition, another phase will be launched, information will be sent out, will be dished out. Whatever we do, and apart from this, there are other issues that we also need to make the people know about, or that we are going to do so. So you can count on us for that. But if the key element is time, then we do not have any problem with that one because we are there. We are dedicated. We are committed to informing you. We are doing our best. We are making our best possible efforts to keep you updated about on the activities of order. But we do not want to mislead. Yes, at one moment we may give misleading information. It's true that there are times that we have information and we're supposed to, what they say in French, recouper. Yeah, you verify and you are sure because what A tells you might not be the same thing that you get from B. So you don't just tell people. You make sure that what you tell people you can be heard for. That. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that and letting us know that you're there to inform the people with the right information. And sometimes we just need to know that you people are still in office, because sometimes we may sit and think that you're taking time like this to prepare some information where everybody bought the pajamas and everybody's on a good mattress and sleeping and saying that we're going to tell the information when we want, because the population is so powerful and we cannot neglect that, like in the social media, because what someone can click and say at the moment is good for OCDA to come in and say, hey, hold on, we've heard this information and we're working on it. Just building that confidence in people, because I congratulate you for coming in today and letting the people know that you are available, because sometimes the availability is a problem. If you are available, we get to you and we know how we can talk to you. That is already a plus, which means that the election on the public relation officer wasn't a mistake. And we are very much glad that you're working on it and you're ready to come and face the press, because not everybody that is going to accept to face the press. Yes, no matter what. And it's social media. Anybody can talk. And what people talk, I convince myself by saying that people say what they know, not that they're saying it's a lie or true. The only truth
Yeah.
is when it's being clarified. So people, every Oko man, like me, if I go to the palace and I see drawing, I say, "Rien you drunk fucking by looking, nan look at the film. No really keen, look at the keen, oh, like we sugar eye and a draw back, the draw with fin, the draw will and take fan. Those are speculations and all those things. Yes, Meki can get and key towards the growth of Oko. And nakana baya a beef belaka public relations officer Cockton Fen say fictive yes, and he's here to clarify people. So often the population is asking, where are they? How can we get to them? Now we know where we can get to them, and he's promising that one of their objectives is getting that committee set up, and now to the next level of getting the contractors to take the other phase of it. Accountability, they are working on the membership cards in order to bring everybody on the book so they can relaunch another phase of it. These are some of the points that are pertinent, because the Oko people get motivated when they get news. Nema Jomfen. Jackie le sare kenka wo na jing. Wule jing selu we yapsen. The quarter ge lu kiwi sare ye jelly. We yapsen ge hey. Na gene luaye gene fella we. Bas luge gene bas fella. Luge gene sui ge. En bas for. En bas yes gene what lie we lem ken lemon. Ja se yes. Wa ja ke ge. Ap se nying mane I fella. Ne belge committees law free akoni ne ku kele ne list kaka suing list the full member sasalum for, and they, so we can have that communicated to people so they will understand it. So the executive, like this is like a roundup of our conversation, like what is top of this new executive, what is your top, what's your priority?
Yeah, the key word remains development.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as if the old or the former executive did not focus on that, but we had so many challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this time around, we're going to take it to another level. So, what actually binds us, what brings us, what gives us the force is development. Another important thing, another aspect of this executive that is also very important is the aspect of the woman and the youth. We are really bent also on that to make sure that they will have the youth wings and the women's wings at the level of the branches. These wings should be created at the level of all the branches. So is one of the decisions, one of the resolutions, what we confirmed the other day in Bafusam, and we have the national coordinators who are there and soon be making their tours and so on. So we are also bent that the youth wing, because we know the importance of the youth when it comes to development. Yes, financially, in terms of ideas, being present, sacrifice, let alone that of a woman. In fact, the woman is always very hardworking. We know how hardworking our mothers and our sisters are. So the new executive also takes that as one of the priorities. And we are also going to prioritize the creation of branches. You know, the population of Oko keeps growing by leaps and bounds, and we need more branches too. So when a group of people, the community settled, organized, when we've realized, as stated in the Constitution, because we get the Constitution, we look at what the branch is all about. I think that in our next meeting we shall be talking something related to the Constitution. and we are also going to ensure that these branches are created. Why? Because the more branches we have, the more communication we have, the more contributions we have, the more ideas we have, the more power we have, and even during our fundraisers we have, getting ideas we have, and then that spirit of belonging, yeah, the idea of belonging, the Okuman will feel that they belong actually to the development of our village. So we can kind of count on us for that. And then one of the last things too that we also see this year as a priority is the cuts for 2024 that will soon be launched. So it's also on our project. Of course, not losing sight of our fundraiser that can be made public anytime soon. I think that we are going to have a meeting too on that and further discussions on that, and the public will be informed.
Okay, thank you so much for coming today and giving these clarifications. And Okwan Beyond is imposing another session, same time next week. We're imposing another section because we want to feed the population with the right information. So same time next week, we're going to handle this more of OCDA in our next session. This is already a schedule on 9:15 your time. Is going to be 9:15 your time. We're imposing this because we don't want to give people information that we don't know. So if you do not come at 9:15 next week, Oko and Beyond will be live, giving people information about OCDA that is not coming from the
It's
public
true. If
relations
if
officer.
if there are any hindrances, I will let Okabion know. But for now, believe you me, we'll be there. If there's anything that obstructs, if we are still guarding momentum, if there's anything between now and then that is not that may make us not come live the same day, same time, I think that I'll let you know, and we'll just have to reschedule. But for now, it's 99% certain.
Yes, just as you say, Bella was ka sungen se suige lo local line vine 9:15. Bli we chunda lo ne yasen ne lo fene so la sungen ne ogda ne okwam beyond we se fi se yuo se chia se ne gele ke da lu ge ani lo ya se fi vin na de suike ke wene Bella ye ke kine ne yasen yelo ne nyak te ne fe di se dio Bella en lu ne kine en kite bib te lete ne be ya lo te bib et qui WhatsApp page ne que ne chiafo lo en ko mak fo ne blewe lu ne sen kon ne ki ken ka chien du sulu ne public relation officer lu ne e mo te me so ne abzele be ka mbu ne se ba lu ne shie ki nguk se ba ne mtime ne jong lese ka fe ne nok so le lo to nok so wen a fe so ku lo te benten ifela windu ke na ka junge fui team effect so ye le no we alu ne se ne bel wen de se sui ke yong so wen sui ge e lo yen no ge le nyakan e nyaka di ka ko ne oku u ba se nyaka ge i ba ne oku di u lo nyak ni ba me ko lo ken ka lo tie bo le fi ko sui ko cha tie ngwa ka we ne ba tie bi fe di ke lu ne lu ken ka bli ko lo ma lum o ma lo ma lie bo se lo tie cha vi no le ne gule so em no te ne ble we es nie ki lo te bele sui ge ka es ne train line vi ne e ko lu ge ko lu fik te ji ne nie ndu ten de me ki ne si se ka si se committees ne lo line vi ka line vi es en ka kon fen so you ge sen do men chi ngai ne committee ne es no lu ki kana sa beef and nyaka comment section a ki le for ki na YouTube long kon yak for ne ablu ready sagui we are thanking the public relations officer for OCDA for taking this time is an hour and 5 minutes we've been here for an hour and 5 minutes and we congratulate him for coming to face Oko in another perspective over the media and taking the questions, clearing the doubts that are in the air. And we encourage him to always come, clear the doubts so we are not misinformed. Because when we stay idle, is giving us the impression that we can say anything and everything is for the betterment of Oko, for the betterment of Ogda. And then we're coming towards the end that they say the way forward is getting those cards in track, accountability, committees will be set up, and all this. So we're not going to keep him long today, because we keep him too long today, he may make excuses of not coming in the next show. So we thanking him for being there. Oko and beyond, as he said, we're everywhere, and we can come to you at any time where there is need. And thank you for your time, and stay blessed. And we say hail to the hail our tribe for being Oko people, being proud Oko people, and thank you for accepting that responsibility as the public relations officer is a key role, and you, the person who takes it in and takes it out. Remember again, it was on this platform that we hit the air about your day, how you're going to run this, and you say you're going to work on this. And we're following track on track. We're going with it step by step. We keep following you and keeping to your words. So see you 9:15 next week, same time. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to see you again on Wednesday at 9:15 p.m. Cameroon time. Thank you for being with us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Kwan Beyond.